Turn with me to the book of 1 Thessalonians. Now, this is one of Pauline's writings, and it is very useful for us to start here. I believe this is a beginning. It should be phase one. Today, it's my son's 14th birthday, and I have been contemplating his birthday for at least the last 2 weeks. Not because we want to do a huge bash and lavish him with gifts, but I'm thinking of time. I have been raising my kids with purpose. I am not sure where they're heading, just as I can raise them to be heading a certain way. The Bible does tell us that blessed is the man whose quiver is full of them. We live in a generation where having kids is a bad thing. If a woman gets pregnant, the first thing that she is told is like, well, let me give you your choices. I don't know why people feel they need to know choices when you're pregnant. If you wanted choices, you shouldn't have sex. Then you'll have all the choices. But once the baby is in the womb, it's not a time for choice. It's a time to do. So we were thankful when our son was born. On this day, 14 years ago, it took 11 hours for him to come forth. 11 hours of pain and anguish and turmoil and strange positions. And after 11 hours, here comes this little man into the world, all open-eyed and trying to see its surrounding. And for 14 years, I've tried to instill in him one thing. One basic thing. Now, it sounds kind of complicated. You're trying to put one thing into your child, just one thing, one simple thing. And it's a 4-letter word. It is not a curse word. It's work. We live in a generation where no one wants to work. It's where people feel like you are enslaving them to work. Matter of fact, you want to get enemies, tell them what to do. You can't tell me to do that. You're not my father. Or watch people's attitude as their bosses tell them to do something at their job. I saw one lady one time that her boss told her to clean the windows when she finished with me as a customer. And the boss proceeded to his office. And I can tell you she grew up in church by her next statement, because she said, "The devil is a liar. I'm not cleaning no windows. If he wants me to clean windows, he better hire Mary maids." And I tried to keep my mouth closed. And I tell you, it didn't happen. I opened my mouth. And I told her, I said, the great thing about having a problem with recession is that you have lots of people in need of a job. There are many people that will take your job right now with college degrees and say, "Thank you very much for the opportunity to work, and I will clean the windows." But someone did not teach her that work was important. God made Adam, and he made Eve. And the first thing he did after he told them what not to eat and what they could eat is to give them a job. We were not given jobs because we were cursed. We were given jobs to give us purpose. Now, if you want to be depressed, don't do anything. The quickest way for depression. I know as a man, if I just sit around, oh man, I have to have something to do. Please give me something to do. I just can't sit there and watch TV. But I've watched other people that get out of bed, put on their clothes, and go sit outside and watch the world pass them by. Just watch everybody else's do. And they feel okay as long as their EBT card is filled once a month. What purpose of living is that? So, 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 11. This is what Paul is telling the people to do. "And that ye study to be quiet." Anybody got a degree in that area? Do colleges offer a degree in that area? because it's a study. Did I read this wrong? Well, why you have to study? Because, I try my best not to open my mouth at times. I've even sat and prayed about it. Lord God, please let me keep my mouth closed. And I can tell you, God has not answered my prayer. I'll open my mouth. You know why? I'm failing. I'm failing my class. To study to be quiet. I'm a lot better than what I used to be. Oh, half the time I keep my mouth closed. But it's not something where God can force me. I have to learn it. I have to look around and learn from my surroundings. There is no book written that says this is the 12 ways to keep your mouth closed. But here it says to study to be quiet. Why? We're going to go on and you'll find out why we need to learn to be quiet. And to do your own business. First, be quiet. Second, mind your own business. Does that sound like Christian folk to you? I've had conversations and someone walked by and, I was listening to what you said, but this is what I think. And it's like, mind your own business. This is not your conversation. When I was a kid, they used to have a saying, this is AB conversation, see your way out. You know what? We're not talking to you. Mind your own business. I have a 10-year-old that, boy, I can be talking and it's like, well, what daddy did? Hush, nobody's talking to you. Now, what does this have to do with work? Oh, you'll see it. And to work with your own hands. Now, here's the reason why you need to be quiet and mind your own business. You can't work if you're doing all the talking. Have you seen people trying to work and talk at the same time? Have you seen people talking on the cell phone and driving? It's just ridiculous. Get behind someone, they're going 10 miles an hour. You're like, what in the world? Why are they going 10 miles an hour? It's a 55-mile-an-hour road. Why are you going 10 miles an hour? Oh, they're talking. They're on the cell phone. Now, I've been around people where I'm curious to know what they're talking about. Because every time you see them, that phone is stuck to their ear. It's like, what is so important that, you can live life for a moment that you have to be around with a girl? Did you see what he was wearing? Oh, how could he wear that? Oh, and he looked so silly and he thought he was looking all fly and stuff. The world is happening and you're busy in someone else's business. Who cares what someone was wearing yesterday? Come on, honestly, I am not in the clothes industry. I can see if you're in the clothes industry, then pay attention to what people are wearing. Because that then becomes your business. Oh, come on, I'm trying to make it very graphic so we can see. Most of the stuff that we deal with is none of our business. It's none yours. I'm a pastor. Guess what's my business? How you live. That's my business. Don't get mad at me because I notice how you live. Because that's my business. That's what I'm sent to do. And believe you me, I don't really want to know. I wish I didn't know. I wish people would stop coming to me and telling me about you. Because I really don't want to know. But you know what? It's my business. I can't watch you going under and just let you. I got to at least warn you. Hey, I see you going under. Keep on going under. I just got to go to God and say that I'm coming with clean hands. I warned you. That's my business. My business is to be in your business. I don't like it. I've never liked being in other people's business. I got too much stuff to do. If you're in the car industry and you're always looking at cars, and you're going and you're talking about, oh, this is a 4-cylinder engine, or this is an 8-cylinder Hemi, and this, and you know about muffled parts, and hey, that's your business. Great. Don't come telling me your business. I'm not that interested. Do we get this? Running our mouth all the time and it's not any of your business. It's called gossip. It's not your business. But why are you gossiping? Because you're a horrible worker. If you're working, you don't have time for it. My wife and I have so much stuff to do that sometimes we get company to come over the house and we're like, oh, why you had to come now? Not that we don't want company. It's just that we got so much stuff to do. It's like, okay, now I got to stop what I'm doing to entertain you so I can be a really good host. See, if you go the book of Titus, it tells you the requirements of being a bishop. I got to be a good host. I don't want to be a good host. The other day I was cutting my grass. We know we shouldn't interrupt people when they're cutting their grass. But lo and behold, here comes a truck. The guy pulls up in my yard and gets out and starts talking. I turned off the engine and kept on talking. We talked until I just had to put my riding lawnmower back up. Forget cutting the grass. Why you do that? I was being a good host. It's part of my business. So what business are you in? Talking. Wait, it tells you here I got to learn to keep my mouth closed. Yeah, but it also told me I have to mind my own business. And sometimes talking is some people's business. If you are a news anchor, you know what I found out? There was a lady in Miami, and she was an anchor. For years, she was an anchor. She was an older lady. She passed away, and they showed a special on TV on her. She never went to college. She never went to college. She graduated from high school, and she started working on the TV news. And they recorded her when she was alive. He said, well, what makes you a good anchor person? She says, I'm nosy. I always want to know what's going on. I have a nose for the news. So I go around and I find out what's happening. And I was so good at it that they put me on TV. And next thing you know, I'm the anchor person. You couldn't do her job today without going to college. She only had a high school diploma on working on TV every day. And she was good at it. She did it until the day she died. Said, what was her gift? She was nosy. If you're nosy and you like being on other people's business, then get a job where it becomes your business. If you're not getting paid for it, or if you're not doing community service of some kind, mind your own business. Do what's your job to do. Let's continue. And to work with your own hands. I like that own hands part. Because some of us are managers. We got the managerial skills. We can tell people what to do, but we ourselves don't do anything. What's your job? I tell people what to do. You know, this was never God's intent of how to work. It is supposed to be that managers know how to do the labor that they're telling other people to do. Nowadays, you can have managers that can tell people what to do, but they don't know how to do it themselves. Well, what if there's an emergency? Aren't you supposed to be able to handle the machines you're working on? Well, I never touched that. I went to college. I got a degree for it. How you become manager? I went to college. When did college ever prepare us to work? Oh, I'm in a touchy subject here. Because I tell you this, I was in the military. In the military, they had drill sergeants to teach you how to be a soldier. And then if you made a mistake and call a drill sergeant, sir, the drill sergeant said, I work for a living. Don't you ever call me that. Yes, drill sergeant. What do you mean you work for a living? Sirs are officers. They went to college. They got a paper that said I went to college, but they don't know how to do anything. They don't know how to work. They just know how to run their mouth. Had one of my siblings went to basic training. He did not make it in basic training. He got a medical discharge. He hurt his little knee. Then he went to college. The next thing you know, he's back in the military. Well, how did you pass basic training? Oh, I didn't. How'd you get in? I'm an officer. What do you mean you're an officer? Oh, we don't have to do that. We don't have to do basic training. Oh, really? Huh. No wonder. Wonder officers don't know how to do anything. Y'all don't have to do anything. And here we are in life, we do the same mess. Let me go to school and learn how to tell somebody what to do. The same brother, I asked him to come help me do something. He said, I don't do that kind of, I do not do menial labor. He did it with an attitude. And I thought, where would you be without people who do menial labor? You wouldn't have a house, because people who do menial labor do that. You can't drive on the street, because people with menial labor do that. You couldn't drive a car, because people with menial labor built the cars. I mean, is there anything that you can have without someone who does menial labor? And the truth is, there's nothing you can have. Everything you have, someone built it. Ironically, most things that are invented were not invented by college people. They were invented by someone who needed it. Necessity is the mother of inventions, I've been told. No, this is not anti-college. It's not. Just learn to work with your hands. Put your hand to something. You know the Bible says that? Put your hand to do something. Not sit there, let me think of a way. Put some probes on my brain so I can do all the labor by just thinking. Thinking by itself is not working. I'm an intellectual person. I like to think. Sometimes I'm quiet and it's like, what's wrong with him? Because I'm deep in thought. I like to think. Someone asked me, how do you know how to build this thing? I read a book. You read a book and then you started building it? Yes. How do you do that? I read the words. And then I started to put my hands to do. Have you ever done anything like this before? No. Well, how do you know you can do it? I read another book. What other book did you read? It's a Bible. So, well, what did that book say? It says I can do all things. And I believed it. I am the crazy one to think that's true. I can do it all. Why? Because in me is the one who's done it all before anything was done. Through Christ who strengthened me. He made all things. And without him, nothing that was made was made. He's in me. I can do it all. I got a perfect coach. But you don't have to. You're right. I don't have to. Well, why do you? Because I have 3 sons. And my 3 sons will never say, Daddy never worked. They are going to say, Dad worked hard. And there was nothing you can tell him to do that he won't sit there and figure out how to build it or how to put it together or how to patch it up. And hey, just give him some time. He'll figure it out. I have Chris giving me that look already. Yeah, I can figure it out. Just I'm trying to mind my own business while I'm doing it. So let's stay in Thessalonians, but cross over the chapter 2. Now you'll find both of these are small books. Starting on chapter 3. Starting on verse 3. Now we command you, brethren, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that you withdraw yourself from every brother that walketh disorderly, and not after the traditions which he received of us. Now, we're going to go through this and find out what is he talking about. Because here, Paul is telling you, stay away from certain people. That doesn't sound very Christian-like, right? I had someone put a post on Facebook, and it's a little rainbow-looking thing around their wrist and say, "Thou shalt not judge." And someone told them somewhere that that's a Christian thought, that we're not supposed to judge. I said, yeah, it's ironic to me because you cannot live without judging. When you go to a restaurant and they hand you a menu, you have to judge. Do you not? You sit there and that looks good. Well, that doesn't look good. Did you make a judgment? Yes, you did. When you're picking out your clothes that you wore today, you had to judge. I have some clothes that I can fit, and I have some clothes that I can no longer fit. Well, I better judge right, because I might be wearing the wrong thing. Oh, it means people. Oh, we're not supposed to judge? Then why is Paul telling you stay away from certain people? All right, let's keep that in mind. We're going to keep on going. For you yourself know how you ought to follow us, for we have behaved not ourselves disorderly among you. First, we find out if they're disorderly. Okay, we're going to stay away from you. If you can't act right, I'm going to stay away from you. If you're the one that's always causing chaos every time we go somewhere, I'm going to stay away from you. And hey, for those who have to pick friends, learn how to make right friends. You know, I want to be the one that's the heart of the party. It's not a good one to be around. Evil communication corrupts good manners. My mom said it this way: show me who your friends are, I'll tell you who you are. So we're staying away from those who are disorderly. Verse 8. Neither did we eat any man's bread for naught, but brought with labor and travail night and day, that we might not be chargeable to any of you. Now, what does this mean? We didn't go to your house eating up your food. We work for ourselves. Oh, we're going back to work, aren't we? Do you see the pattern? We work for ourselves. I didn't show up at your house talking about, hey, Chris, what you got in the refrigerator? I'm hungry. Open up his refrigerator. How old are these leftovers? You got some ribs in the freezer. Can you make me some ribs? If I show up at Chris' house because he invited me to come and eat, I don't show up at Chris' house talking about, oh, feed me. Why? I work with my own hands. My own hands. This is Paul talking here. Let me tell you what Paul did for a living. He made tents. Do you know Paul did not have to make tents? Paul went to Bible college. It was Bible college of his day. He was a theologian. He'll tell you, I was a Pharisee of Pharisees. I have my act together. His first job was, give me a letter so I can go from city to city to bring all these Christian folks over here and have them tried. And he had a letter. And he went and he brought the Christians. And he became one on the way. Paul had authority. Paul wasn't supposed to be no tent maker. But when he became a Christian, he says, I'm not going to do like Peter. Peter got it cushy. Matter of fact, if you read the Bible, you'll find out Paul had a little attitude with Peter. I'm going to paraphrase it. Paul wrote Peter and says, I don't have it like you, where people give me everything. I got to work for mine. So this is how we lead. I'm leading people by me doing myself. Continue. Not because we have not power, but to make ourselves as an example unto you to follow us. Not because I can't do it. Well, Bishop, why don't you just study the Bible and do Bible study on Wednesday and preach on Sunday morning? Why? Because y'all can't afford it. Because I got to make a living. I got to pay for stuff. Say, well, how you doing? Hey, you don't know how we make money. We are creative. We come up with ways to make an income. We're not starving. We have lights on and water's running. Have gas in our car. Pay our car payment. Pay our mortgage. Now, all of you that have bills, you know all these things cost. Life isn't free. Everything costs. Well, you can't even go a block without it costing you. Really? I mean, think about it. Even if you walk, it costs. Because if you don't eat, you can't walk a block. You need to have something to give you energy. So everything we do has a cost. Well, how come you give away stuff freely? Do you know there's a requirement to give stuff away for free? Did you know there's a requirement in the Bible to give stuff away for free? Did you know there was a requirement? I didn't know. Here's God's requirement. Freely you got it. Now freely you give it. Wait a second, if it costs me, that means I don't have to give it? Yep. If it costs you, you don't have to give it. That's why people can't go in your house and, ooh, you got a brand new TV. Yeah, it is nice, isn't it? Can I have it? No, you can't have it. What's wrong with you? Go get a job. Buy yourself one. No, you can't have it. I've had people come to my house and they have this old Catholic belief that, priests are supposed to be poor. Ooh, look at your washer and dryer. It's nice. Yeah, it is. Can I have it? No. How about your TV? No. Your car? No. I had someone to tell me they needed bail money to put my house on the line so they can bail out of prison. I mean, no. Well, what kind of Christian you are? I'm following the rule. I didn't get it for free. I worked for it. That was my example. I worked. Was talking yesterday with Pastor Chris. I said, I've done all kind of work. So you named it, I've done it. I'm certified in pretty much everything. You want to know something I'm not certified at? Let me know so I can get certified at it. I'm taking a class now to go get something so I can go hunting, because I'm not certified in that yet. Said, yeah. If I need a job, you tell me these are the requirements you need. I'll get certified so I can do the job. Why? It's an example. My sons have to work. They don't have a choice. Well, why not? Because if you don't work, there's no need for you. You gotta work. You were created to work. No one was created to sit back and enjoy everybody else working. Well, how about those multimillionaires? They work. They just don't work like you and I work. I've seen people just crunching numbers. Oh, sell. Buy. Sell, buy, sell, buy. Sell, buy. Oh, I would be so confused. Which one did I sell and which one I bought? I mean, how you keeping up with all of this? It's all in your head. You know what? And by the next day, you got to do it all over again. It's like, that's not work to me. That's torture. I watched one of my friends. He worked producing TV stuff, and he was in his media truck. And I was having a conversation with him, and all of a sudden they came out of commercial. He didn't even pause. He, camera 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready on camera 2, change angles. And I'm like, okay, he's keeping up with all the cameras. He's keeping up with all the microphones. He's keeping up with all the text they're putting on. He's keeping up with how long they have to the next commercial. And he's doing all of this, and it's automatic to him. He's not even striving to focus. It's just an automatic focus. Ooh, give me an hour of that, I'll be tired. It's like, how do you do that? Man. And folks look at me and, well, how do you do what you do? How do you talk for an hour about Scripture and you keep it all in line and You have your theme, and you'll give a little story here, and you'll go off topic supposedly, and then next thing you know, you bring what you said back to the topic, and it all coincides. How do you do that? To some people, this is work. But you know, Paul said, "Follow me as I follow Christ." He said, "I'm an example. I'm not sitting here, hey, I want a new Mercedes. Y'all pray so I can get a new Mercedes. Yeah, give your tithe and offering and keep on preaching Malachi to you so you'll keep on paying for my..." I'm not on one up here talking about, "Oh, I have the biggest house on the block." Like I've heard some pastors say, I'm not doing any of that. This is what I'm doing. Work. Work. When I went to high school, you had requirement for doing community service if you wanted to graduate. It wasn't just your regular job. You had a responsibility to your community. We've had people to work for us doing community service while the state pays them to do community service. That's not community service. Let me just be honest to you. Community service you don't get paid for. That's why it's called community service. And when I was about to graduate, I did not turn in my community service letter on time. And my guidance counselor called me to the office. "Ronaldo, you didn't do your community service." "I beg your pardon? You didn't turn in a letter that says you completed your community service." I said, "I shouldn't have to." "What do you mean you shouldn't have to? Did you not get the Miami Herald last week?" "Yes, I did." "Okay, get the one from Monday." He got Monday's Miami Herald. So you see, I'm a Silver Knight nominee. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's a big award in Miami. For what? For community service. You don't need a letter. I'm getting an award for community service. So I shouldn't need to give you a letter. I did 40 hours. No one gets an award for doing 40 hours of community service. That's the requirement. "Well, how many hours did you do?" Keep on reading. Read. And it stayed on there. Ronaldo White has done at least 40 hours community service every week since he was 10 years old. That's in my requirement for graduation. I did in 1 week when I was 10 years old. I said, "Well, why did you do that?" "Because I played the piano and I wanted to play. And I played wherever they let me play. That was my community service. I played at church. I did choir rehearsals and praise team rehearsals and adult choir and kiddie choir. I did all those things. I did the dramas in church and I went and I played in old folks' homes, retirement homes on weekends, and I played wherever I could play, where someone would listen to me play. Was that work? No. Then why'd you do it? Because my piano sucked. I wanted to play in a better piano, so I found places that had them. I went to the mall and I gave community service at the mall, at the piano and organ store. I did it every day. I got out of school and took a bus to the mall, Omni Mall, downtown Miami. Every day after school, I practiced my piano lesson in the mall piano. And everybody walked by and listened to me play and stopped, and they'll come into the store and the salesman will sell the piano that I was practicing on. How much did you get paid for that? Nothing. But I got to practice with some of the best pianos. That community service, I didn't get paid for it, but someone else did. Everything that Paul did, he didn't get paid for. He didn't get paid to preach. He didn't get paid to teach. And sometimes he felt like, I have to leave tomorrow, so let me give you everything I've learned. So we have to work. Are we getting that? Because I'm going to get to a verse that's going to tell you, explicitly what it means. Verse 9, not because we had not power. We read that. Verse 10, for even when we were with you, this we commanded you. Did you hear that? This is what he's commanding you. It's not one of the 10 commandments, but this is what Paul says. This is what I think life is about. This is important. Pay attention. That if any man will not work, neither should he eat. You want to be lazy? You want to be a bum? Don't eat then. Am I being clear? Do you believe we should feed the homeless? I believe we should feed the homeless who became homeless because it wasn't of any of their control. I really believe we should not feed the homeless who don't want to work. Oh, I'm going to get some mad people. One time my wallet got stolen. I got stranded. Wallet got stolen, no money. Driving back to military base. Couldn't stay in a hotel. Couldn't get gas for the car, so couldn't keep driving. And I went and I stayed in a homeless shelter for that night. Very uncomfortable. The smell was, oh. But then I heard the conversation the next day as two homeless people were talking. And the conversation sounded like this. There's a truck coming to pick up some of the workers today. You want to come work? No, I don't want to. I'm just going to go and ask some people to give me some money. Oh yeah, I guess I'll do that. What street you going? You going to be at 12th Street? I'll be on 16th Street. I was mad. You know why I was mad? I was stranded there because someone stole my wallet. I couldn't go to work, but I wanted to be at work. I was supposed to be at work, but I was stranded somewhere. I wanted to be at work. And here you have these two grown men that don't want to work, but they want to go to the street and ask someone to give them money so they can buy stuff, like if it's their privilege. They call these people panhandlers. I've had folks on my work for food. I've seen those. You've seen those signs? I went to one. I said, I have a lawnmower and I have a yard. I'll feed you when you're finished. Well, all I want is $1. Oh, good. I'll give you $1 when you're finished. No, man. You take me for a fool? You out here begging for money? You must be a fool. No. I said, did you not know David's promise? What was King David's promise? It was this. I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed to beg bread. I'm a righteous man. My seed not going to be begging for no bread. They're going to know how to work. I said, that's not no blessing. That's a curse. That's below your human standard to sit there and begging people for stuff. Get a job. Put your hand to do something. Our two last kids that we have, before the kids became our kids, my wife talked to their biological father. I can't get a job. Lives in New York. My wife said, you know, in New York, you have to walk the dogs every day. It is a law. You have to walk your dogs every day, or else you get fined. If you want a dog, you have to walk the dog. But what does that have to do with me? You live in New York. Still don't get it. Walk dogs. Knock on your neighbor's door and say, I walk your dog every day for $5 a week. $5? Not a lot of money. No, you get lots of dogs. And you walk like 6 dogs at a time. And then you go to the next 6 neighbors and you walk those 6 dogs. And you walk for 8 hours. 15 minutes each set of dogs. And at the end of the week, you're going to go collect your money. What did you do? I can't do that. I'm walking all day. Yeah, but you'd rather not have money and begging people for money. You know what that makes you? That makes you a bum. Do you know there are laws for beggars in the Bible? Oh, y'all, I'm telling you all kind of crazy laws y'all didn't even know existed, huh? There are laws of who can beg. You know who can beg? The handicapped people who couldn't work. They will sit at the gate. This is where all the people have to pass in to go in the city. I'm blind. Can you please help a blind man? I'm lame. Can you watch some of those old movies? In the old movies, you always had the handicapped people were the beggars. If you had 2 arms and 2 legs and you can work, you weren't allowed to beg. Someone will put you to work. But we live in a society, oh, they're mentally handicapped. If I can teach my dog to sit, you should be able to learn how to sit too. You're supposed to have more mental facility than my dog. We have 2 special need kids, and I tell them, I say, listen, you may have to struggle all your life, but you can learn to act normal. No, you might not be normal in the inside, but nobody has to know. Learn to keep your mouth closed and act right. Nobody will know. Learn yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. You'll get a job. Somebody missed this basic stuff. I'm telling you, it was basic. So you don't want to work. This is what God said. Stop eating. Why would God say something like that? God has some crazy stuff. He has things that are like this. If the tree is not producing fruit, cut it. Use it for firewood. He meant for you to produce, not to sit back and to eat of everybody else's production. We weren't called for that. We were not made. You think your mama had you in their womb for 9 months for you to do nothing? You think that would make your mama proud? My son is a professional panhandler. How did you become this way? We have ministries that their whole ministry is to feed the homeless. I applaud you for caring so much for the homeless. I don't care for them that much. I'm just being honest. I really don't. I'm like, if I'm going to feed you and it costs me, let me put you to work. Hey, I'll feed you. I'll clothe you. I'll put a roof over your head, but you better be producing something. Even if it's nothing for a moment that you're producing for us. Hey, take this Microsoft course and I'll feed you. And I'll clothe you. And I'll put a roof over your head. And when you finish, you can get a job. Take this little sewing class and I'll feed you and clothe you and give you a roof over your head. And when you finish, you can get a job. Take this little auto mechanic class and hey, and I'll feed you and I'll clothe you and I'll put a roof over your head. And when you finish, get a job. What? Where do we get this crazy concept from? From one verse. Man does not work. He does not eat. God made us to work. Be inventive. Be creative. You can't find a job. Make up something. Find what someone needs. I've got to know people who made some crazy inventions and got paid. There was even one in a movie that I thought was so funny. I get royalties for every time Starbucks uses a little thing around the cups. I don't know if that's for real life, but it's funny to think about it. You know that little brown cardboard thing around the cup so you won't burn your hand? Who came up with that? Someone who burned their hand. Hey, ingenious, isn't it? Something simple. Well, how do you make money? You know what I have discovered about money? I recently discovered this. There are people that have money that want to give it away. Did y'all hear that? There are people that have money that want to give it away. Here I am. I got lots of work to do. And I got lots of work that I want to give people jobs to do. But I don't want to give it to the bum on the street. And I certainly don't want my kids to grow up to become one. Hey, if my son works at McDonald's and makes a living at working at McDonald's, I'll be, son, it's a job. At least you're working. It's a job. I complained to my piano teacher once, and I was in the military, and I was so sad, and I was like, oh, I can't stand what I do. You know, I gotta be a soldier first, and gotta shine my boots, and I have to iron my pants and have it all starched, and make sure that my brass is all shiny and my haircut is good, and make sure I shave, and all this takes so much time, and I can't really focus on my skill of playing the piano, and all I really want to do is to play. And she sat there and grabbed my hand and started caressing my hand, which is something she did for years. It was a way of getting my attention. She got my undivided attention, and she says, Ray, there are many pianists and opera singers and violinists and cellists and musicians of all caliber who can't play the instrument at all because they're busy waiting tables. You are so blessed. Boy, she had a knack of making me shut up with so much passion and so gently. You know what? I got a job that pays well, and I get to do what I like to do in between. I am so blessed. Whatsoever you put your hands to do, God will bless. But put your hands to do something. Put your hands to do something. Don't sit there, I don't know how to do it. You know, there's a book for everything. I can't stand doing computer stuff. You know why? I can't understand the book. I got to get someone to decipher the book for me. I don't know what all these symbols are. I just got a hunting rifle, and lo and behold, I'm sitting around all these people who know about rifles, and they're having their own rifle lingo. They're talking, and I didn't understand a thing. But I'm sitting there and pretending I understand because I don't want to be the buffoon in the room. So I'm just nodding, and okay. And I come back, and I'm like, I got to learn this lingo if I'm going to be around these people. Because I might get shot because I didn't understand. I need to learn the lingo. Because they think this is a job. Do you know some people consider that to be a job to them? They know it to where they get the magazines every week, and they read on what's the latest scope and what's the latest rifle and where's the best hunting. And I don't want to get that deep. I just want to go hunting every once in a while. What if it's going to save my life? I need to learn the lingo. I might offend somebody by walking across their area that they're tailing some buck. Just learned that word recently. Buck. I thought it was money. Thought it was a $1 bill, a buck. Come find out it's a male deer. Boy, there's a lot of things I got to learn. But here we are. Back to the same point. You were born to work. Everyone that has been born was born to work. All those special need folks you've seen, they were born to work too. Don't look at me like that with that tone of voice. We live in Alabama. You've seen our Alabama coin? Who's on our Alabama coin? Helen Keller. You know her story? She couldn't hear. She couldn't see. She couldn't talk. She was believed to be retarded because she couldn't do any of those things. And she got someone with strong hands that got her parents to stop babying her. And she went with Helen Keller as Helen Keller went to college to get her degree. Graduated from college. Can't hear, can't see, can't talk, but she worked. And here we are. What's our excuse? To the bum under the bridge, what's your excuse? To the ones sitting on just watching the world go by from the nice little cushy chair in front of their government housing, what's your excuse? Oh, well, my forefathers were slaves. Yeah, they worked. Well, I'm expecting my 40 acres and a mule. You didn't work. They worked. They deserve the 40 acres and the mule. You don't. Come on. Let's get real about life. Understand this. With our economy going under, all our welfare system will go under before everything else collapses. Did we hear this? Medicaid will stop before the government goes under. EBT will go away before the government goes under. Pell Grant will go away before the government goes under. Housing will go away. I'm trying to warn you. Things are not going to get brighter. But if you cannot work, I feel sorry for you. The Nazi regime, the first people they killed before the Jews were all the handicapped. These are volumes I'm trying to give you. They killed their own first, who did nothing. It's not a curse to work, but it is a curse not to.